So with that, let's open it up for questions. This woman's had her hand up for some time.
Hi. Yes.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Melanie D'Arrigo. I appreciate the fact that you let us know that there will be some new legislation coming up, but I do want to make sure that everybody in the room understands the distinctions between the House bill that Congressman Suozzi posted about on his Facebook bill and the Senate bill that was ultimately passed. The House bill had many protections for actual humanitarian aid built in it. The Senate, as Congressman Suozzi just told everyone, shot it down, created their bill. I think, Congressman Suozzi, what you just told everybody is a huge mischaracterization of the bill.
Which bill?
The Senate bill. When you talk about the humanitarian aid, I spent several hours this weekend going through both of the bills, and only about 3.5% of the total spend is actually going toward humanitarian aid.
Okay, that's
When you look, yeah, that is right. It depends how you characterize humanitarian aid. If you're going to characterize it as bed expansion, that's a separate conversation. But I think when we're talking about, excuse me?
Call it 20%.
It's 3%. 3%. Well, 96 and a half, isn't it? Which is a big deal. My question to you, Congressman, we've heard reports that the Problem Solvers Caucus that you are the vice chair of dug in your heels and would not vote for Pelosi's amendments to the Senate bill. I want to understand if that's true, and if it is, I want to understand why you voted against those amendments.
So I didn't vote against those amendments.
Well, I want to know your vote on the Problem Solvers Caucus because it's been reported that it was the Problem Solvers Caucus that was responsible for not allowing those amendments to go through. You would not have the votes without your support. So I'd like to know
The Problem Solvers has a rule that if 50% of the Democrats and 50% of the Republicans, 75% in total, vote for a statement, we have to support it.
But how do you vote?
I really can't, I'm not allowed to tell you. I'd like to tell you because you would like me more if I told you.
Yeah,
It's part of the rule. It's part of the rules that we're not supposed to.
Well, then my question is this. If you didn't...
Let me just say this.
Let me say this. If you didn't support it, how could you, as a family who comes from immigrants, how could you allow that bill to pass?
Okay, because the point is that if the House did not vote for the Senate bill, people would have gone home for last week, and there would have been no money sent to address this problem on the border. What?
The 3%?
It's not 3%. I don't know where you're getting that number from.
Do the math. If you look at the bill,
I have 986 million goes for food and care and.
That's not in the bill. You can show me where.
Okay.
45 million went for medical care and consumables. There was another 111, but it went for mixed use. So that's what we're trying to understand.
So Mike, can you research this, please, while we're waiting? This is straight from Senator Leahy's office. Okay, let me just, hold on one second. Let me tell you the things that the House bill, that the progressive members of the House wanted in their bill that did not get passed, okay?
Well, I read the House bill.
We know.
Okay, I'm sure you know, and I'm sure she
Many of
knows.
us know. Many of us know.
Okay, I'm sure not everybody.
Why don't you ask? Well, not everybody.
Okay, who knows what's in the House bill?
I don't. Not everybody. I
Okay.
Did you read
All right.
I'll tell you what's from volume 1 of the motion.
Is that okay, Miss? Miss, is that okay? Okay, in just a second, okay? So it prohibited ICE from constructing additional temporary housing centers, tent camps. That's something that Speaker Pelosi got a commitment from the Vice President on, and we are now having a bill that's going to be proposed this week to actually do that. You know, and having a bill is a wonderful thing. Getting the House and the Senate to pass it, and then getting the President to sign it, is another thing. Second, prohibit funding for military operations at the border. The Senate bill included $145 million for DOD to help with border control. The progressives didn't want that in the bill. Increase living standards in detention facilities. And we certainly want that. They want it codified in legislation. I had $200 million for multi-agency pilot program, which is culturally, linguistically, religiously appropriate for children and families based upon recommendations from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. That's something that Speaker Pelosi said we're going to try and introduce this week to actually have a provision like that. Increase grant funding for local not-for-profits and jurisdictions handling the care of migrants released from custody from $30 million to $60 million. Those are, to my understanding, the 5 things that were in the progressive bill that were not in the Senate bill. Is there something else that you think was in the progressive bill that was not in there?
You should read the House bill
Absolutely.
again. You should read the House bill, which goes into detail, and I'll happily post it on your.
When you say the House bill, you mean the progressive bill?
Well,
No.
the House bill that you voted for originally.
Yeah.
There were.
Well, I voted, yes, this is important to note. Thank you for bringing that up. There was a House bill
Yeah.
that came up, and I voted for it. And I voted for the progressive bill. The Senate said they would not take up that bill. 4 of our most progressive members voted against that bill. They wanted more provisions.
This isn't about progressive.
I just want to make this point. This is where a lot of this ire is coming from. And,
It's not.
okay. Yes, go ahead, Vince.